These are some poems from my forthcoming book, The Bigger World. The IRS. Stanley cheated on his 2001 tax return, and his 2002, and his 2003, 2004, and 2005. He cheated because he felt sorry for the government, and he thought he could give them money that way so that they could start more wars. Stanley loved wars, not just war games, but actual wars where men, women, and children got blown to smithereens. He didn't know why he loved wars so much. He had had a stable childhood and all. But wars excited him. One day, Stanley decided to travel to a distant shore to start a war among the natives. He called you fat, and she said you had premature ejaculations. The natives were puzzled, as they spoke no English. Stanley was dismayed. Since he couldn't manage to start any wars, he decided to open his own dentistry practice on the island. But no one came to see Stanley, as everyone used the same dentist already, a man with wings on his face. So Stanley put wings on his face too, and people flocked to him in droves. In time, Stanley forgot about wars and became kind. One day, he was eaten by a tiger and went to purgatory, where he was met by an IRS auditor. "Thank you for helping with the war effort," the agent said to Stanley. "But I no longer like wars," Stanley replied. "I like teeth." The auditor smiled at Stanley and told him to hush, that he had done a good job, and that purgatory would only last for as long as it takes to fill out 1,010,40 forms, minus one rotation of a drill. Book of Life. The phoenix rose from the ashes and decided to keep rising. A forgetful monk basked in its shadow. "Bananas taste expensive," exclaimed the monk to no one in particular. Suddenly the phoenix swooped down and landed on top of his head. "I am no longer wedded to Eros," the phoenix warbled, "and I'd like to live with you in the monastery, though my wings are still singed and I only eat live things." The monk rifled through his power pack and pulled out a squirming worm. "Here you go, my fiery friend. Take it and eat it. And do not worry about the other monks. They mean you no harm. You are to go back to the monastery with me." The phoenix flapped its wings with happiness. But seemingly out of nowhere, the phoenix drilled a hole in the ground with its beak and descended into the core of the earth. The monk was sad and alone, but since he was forgetful, the memory of the phoenix soon faded. He hummed, "The lion sleeps tonight," on his way back to the other monks, with a dim recollection of his younger years when Eros lorded over him and he was happy. When he returned to the monastery, he died of a fatally broken heart, not remembering exactly why. Welcome, Matt. The whole world clanked like an iron shovel. "For all my talk about complete takeover, I'm really pretty humble," thought George. A white pigeon flew off somewhere. "We didn't stand the test of even a little time," Mary wrote on a note to George, pinned it to his pillow. The note was signed, Mary. George decided to put an umlaut over her name. Not just one letter, but her whole name, one giant umlaut. George experienced the world in large strokes from a painter's brush, a painter with 3 ears. "Even the ice cream man has a plan," sneered George. Ice cream sounded particularly good, as a matter of fact, and George decided to get some. On his way downstairs, he slipped on a banana peel. His coccyx hurt, but otherwise he was okay. "If I had anything at all, I'd give it to Mary," George rued. When he saw the ice cream man, he busted his megaphone. "Take that," George bellowed. The ice cream man hauled his broken song away, leaving a stream of tears. The sun sidled into Leo. all was right with the world. Love story. No job was big enough for Carla. I sell jewelry on the beach in the summertime. I catch fish with a giant net. I laze about for days and days, and still I have more to do. Ronnie piled logs for firewood, and one day she confessed her love for Carla. The sun in your golden hair makes you look like a sad sunflower, she said, and I am yours. Carla was pleased, as she had spent many nights dreaming of Ronnie. It's okay to do some mind-numbing dance, Ronnie. Now all we need is one of them blood pressure machines and we'll be set. Ronnie thought, this chaos is original. She said to Carla, let's live in a blue house together, have blue house children, live under this fragile still life of the stars. Carla answered, in my dream I am a slim pixie, and I dance in the bleak corridor of a lost haven. But I am becoming too arcane, and all I want is you, our blue house, our stars. And so they did that, and Carla dried up like a prune. She hardly ever looked at Ronnie, but when Ronnie died of a liver disease, she missed her genuinely and reaped her stellar rewards, and never again sold jewelry on the beach. A Suburban Tale. The plant was old, sick, and frail. No one came to see it anymore, and its keeper frequently forgot to water it. I think you murdered it, the keeper's wife said one day, jagged interloper that she was. The cat blushed something fierce, as it had wished the plant dead many times, but it had once been a sturdy plant, so it wouldn't be killed by a mere cat. The plant's keeper left the room and wept furiously, as he knew the plant's decline was his fault and only his. He decided to buy a new plant, a prettier plant, a girl plant, and he did. His wife soon noticed the attention to the new addition of the family and became jealous. When the keeper was sleeping, she cut the plant into pieces, and each one crawled off in a different direction from the others, gasping for breath. When the keeper found out what had happened, he had his wife beheaded, and he put her head in a flower pot and watered it every day, combing the wet hair out of her eyes. He sang her limpid songs and called her by her new plant name, Gloria. Gloria, I am yours forever, he would chant, and it was true. And they lived happily ever after, in the shadow of murder, flowering on its savage, hairy stem, while the cat grew old and skeletal and howled at this laughable memento of its nemesis, the plant. Thank you.